Welcome to Sip and Spill, a new podcast where the people behind the game get the mic. Honest, unfiltered conversation with spouses of coaches and players, unsung, but on Sip and Spill, they take center stage. Sip and Spill is sponsored by Summit Credit Union, by Havish and Rotier, by Red and White Wine Bar in Wanakee, and by Evie & Co. Boutique in Wanakee, and by the spa at Autumn Organics. Today's guest on Sip and Spill is Brenda Haugen. She is the wife of Pete Haugen. He is the head coach at Gustavus Adolphus College, their college football team. Brenda Haugen is our guest. My captain and your host for Sip and Spill is Kari Heller.
Welcome in. I have a hat that is representing the cowgirl that I'm going to bring to the stage right now. Of course, it's from my favorite store, Evie & Co. in Wanakee. I just can't wear it because of my headband. But welcome back to Sip and Spill, everybody. Today's episode is super fun, and I'm really excited about it. It's someone that's not only a part of my extended family, but also has one of the most interesting stories, such as the cowgirl hat. We're going to get into that. Brenda married to Pete, as Mike already stated, D3 football coach, mom to Zeke, Zoe, and Zeta. And now we're both on baby watch because Zeke, your oldest son or oldest child, and my daughter Morgan have been married for about they've been married 5 years, and they're expecting their first bundle of joy any day now. So can't we wait till that happens?
Yeah. Annie watch. Oh,
that's okay.
Okay.
I think it is.
Oh, no.
I bet by the time this is live for everybody, that she'll be born.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to. I'm so used to thinking about it. I know. Put it out there. Spill. That's what I'm doing right away.
Let's spill. I love it. Okay. So, how did we never talk about this? I know we don't get to see each other often, but when you sent me, some fun facts or whatever, and you said you grew up on a camp and you barrel raced.
Yes.
And horses and I don't, because now all my stuff fell. I gotta take a moment to grab all that. But I don't know if you can see this, but Mike was in a Gaming with the Stars competition, and he won first place in barrel racing.
No way.
So this has never come up. You know what happens?
How many seconds, Mike? How many seconds?
How many seconds, Mike?
Fast. It was fast, Brenda.
You won it, so it had to be really fast. I love it.
Yeah. So in 2012, he was on a morning show, and he and his partner went to a local farm or a ranch, I guess I should say, and took lessons for about 6 weeks, I think.
Oh yeah.
And ended up learning, and his horse Nugget and him took first place.
That's no joke. I mean, you got to hold on tight.
Yes. Yeah. So he was off earphones there for a little bit. So do you happen to remember, Mike, how many seconds you were?
He said fast. I heard him say.
Yeah, it was, Brenda, it was fast. Very, very fast. I don't remember the time. Actually, when I watched it back on video, I was watching and go, wow, I'm going so slow. And it felt like I was going super fast because we did the barrels, we did the poles, and we did keyhole.
Oh, yeah.
We did all three of those, and then they use your combined score on them. And we got $5,000 for the charity of our choice.
Most important. That's great.
If for some reason we are ever sitting around together doing nothing, we'll pull out the DVD and we'll watch it.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we have that.
Of me.
But I don't know if we have a DVD player. That's the problem. So I started off with my cowgirl hat, and I have my Evie & Co. jeans on, but then I couldn't not represent Gustavus, who you've been a part of for a very long time, this football family and schooling family, right? And so first of all, I don't want to skip over the horse girl in you at all. Do you feel like you still are like a horse girl at heart?
Not so much. That was a season, I think, of my life before I left for college. And I grew up at a camp and we did rodeos every single week. So we would entertain just kind of a lot of crazy, kind of really unsafe things too, to entertain campers. And then it did several rodeos, like local rodeos. I wasn't any high octane, traveling barrel racer, but I did do it for several years and it was fun. And it was kind of part of who I was as horsemanship, and had my own horse for a while, and then used the camp quarter horse to kind of do some of that too. And so, yeah, once I left for college, that was kind of that season was over. And, but our youngest did some riding in St. Peter. So she did a little bit of that with a neighbor and kind of caught the bug, but didn't really stay. So that was kind of fun to visit that for a short time a few years ago.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have any horses on your farm?
No horses.
Your mini farm, right?
There was a lot of talk about that from one of our kids, and then it just didn't come together because there'd be a lot of fencing and food needed.
Right. And you have your hands full.
Yes, plenty to do.
Okay, so we're going to rewind then. Okay, so not really rewind. We're right in the right spot. You go to college. You're a hockey cheerleader. A hockey goalie. Who caught whose eye first?
Well, it was so funny. I mean, I had never seen hockey in my life. We didn't have hockey where I grew up in Wisconsin. And I think one of my friends, who's a dear friend now, convinced me to be a cheerleader. And I had actually never been a cheerleader either. And she's like, you can do this. Try out. I'll help you. I'm like, okay, but I don't even know really how to skate. She's like, we can do it. I'm like, okay.
Skating hockey cheerleader.
Yeah, so we practice, and I was a cheerleader, and yeah, Pete was a goalie, and one of my friends, one of my dear friends, really kind of had her eye on him to a certain extent, and so we were doing things with him and his two roommates, Tim and Tim. And then just the end of my freshman year and the end of his sophomore year, we started dating, and we had our first date. I think it was, I got it March 9th, I think, the day before his birthday. So, and my freshman year and his sophomore year. So it was a long time ago.
Wow, that's exciting. What was your first date?
We went to Rudolph's Barbecue in Minneapolis. It wasn't there. It's not there anymore. But yeah, I think I had the little Ricky and he had the big Ruby, and that was it.
Wow.
So you were at the same college, and what college was that?
Bethel University. Yeah,
Bethel University.
It was Bethel College at the time. It's grown substantially since, but we both met at Bethel College University now. In St.
Such a fun story. And so you get married. How was it a fun engagement story?
Well, here's the funny thing, and my kids can't believe this, but we dated for like over 6 years.
Okay.
And I think at one point I was like, okay, what are we doing? Are we getting married or not married? And he's really good about like, hey, I want to be prepared. So he wanted to be tenured in his teaching and wanted to have some things. And I was working in a different city. And so it was good. It all worked out good, but it wasn't anything. Nope. It just kind of happened. And then we got married and lived in a duplex for many years in South Minneapolis. It was great.
Did you move back to Wisconsin at any point, or did you stay in Minnesota?
No. Yeah, stayed in Minnesota. I just kind of stayed. As soon as I left for college, I just stayed in Minnesota, and that was kind of became home from then on for me.
Okay. All right. Mike has a question.
Yeah, well, just a random dude in the audience has a question.
Yes.
So when you first started dating, like he didn't have any time. He was a 3, and that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
He played 3 sports in college. He played football, hockey, and baseball.
Yeah.
So like, how did you fit in time to see one another?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And I think there was a little bit of battling going on in there for a few years there. I'm sure of it. I don't remember it too dramatically now, but I think I'm pretty independent, was pretty, really connected in with my friends, did a lot of things. I worked my way through college. So I was working 3 jobs all the way through. So I was actually really busy too. And then I did a lot of side things, cheerleader, and it's probably part of some other things that I don't really totally remember, but I did work a lot all the way through college to kind of get myself through. So probably matched up. And then I was a hockey cheerleader. So I was at all those games. And then, football was a fun thing to join into. And then baseball was pretty leisurely. So you could kind of be around for that as well.
Yeah. Were you a cheerleader for any other sport?
Mm-mm.
No scholarship or anything? Like they didn't?
No, not even kind of.
Okay, well, you're married, so you get married. What year was that?
Yeah, so I told Pete, I'm like, oh no, I'm going to be quizzed on the year we got married. Okay, so 32 years ago in June.
Okay, everyone else do the math because I am not a math person.
June 25th, okay, here it is, June 25th, 1994. That's
Okay.
what it was. 32 years this June.
Okay, amazing. And then 1 year you're married, and he's a head football coach, right? Like he was a head football coach right away at Washburn High School? No.
Immediately, within months.
Okay.
Right? Got married in
Okay.
June. He took the head coaching job right then. And then he became a head coach. And, I didn't grow up with athletics and he did. So it was quite a learning curve. But yeah, he started as a head coach the moment we got married.
And then at that time, was he so not like in college, he's playing all these sports. Now you're married, adult life, and he is coaching football, hockey, and baseball.
That's right. So he was a head football coach, and then he was coaching goalies at Bethel at that time. Then he was the head baseball coach at Washburn too.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
And at what point in that first year of marriage were you like, is this normal?
Well, that's such a good question. It's all I knew. I mean, I know that we had probably lots of conversations about that, but I just kind of, he has always been really just like attentive and thoughtful, and he's really expansive with his energy. So like, he doesn't shut down. He doesn't, come home. He's always just really good about balance. He always has been. Mm-hmm. He's always thought about me and timing, but sure, it was really busy. And I was probably, because I was working 3 jobs in college, going to college, I remember like working and then working side jobs. So I think I just kind of did what he was doing, but in my own way.
Right. Yeah. Then the out of the blue random phone call from Gustavus, who I'm representing here. Mm-hmm. And you go from, okay. So I heard you say Bethel, but is it Washburn High School and Bethel? Yeah, he was at Washburn at Minneapolis Public School, pretty big school in South Minneapolis. We live near there, and he was coaching. He was a head football coach and head baseball coach. He had dropped baseball after a while, but he was coaching goalies for a while at Bethel. He was just helping them out. So okay,
kind of the
when it came time for this phone call, and he. Let's see, coaching from 94 to 08 is that about right?
Yeah, just about 15 years. Yep. He was there and had a good run.
Washburn or near there. And all of a sudden you move from Minneapolis to St. Peter, from city life to rural.
Yeah.
It's always a hard one to say. Yeah. How significant was that decision? And
very.
You took a lot of time.
Well,
you had 3 kids too already, right? All 3 of your kids were born?
Yeah, I mean, funny timing. Like God, we don't, it was out of left field actually, because he was in the middle of, I think, his 15th year, 16th year. He had some good success at Washburn with building the program and just success too on and off the field. And then he was just one fall. I remember him calling me, and he's like, "Hey, I just got a phone call from the athletic director at Gustavus, and he'd like me to apply for the head coaching job." And I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" It was kind of just out of left field. And he said, "I'm going to think about it, but I'll wait till my season's over and then we'll talk about it." So the athletic director was great. He just waited till the end of the season, and we went down and took a tour, and went through the process, and he was hired. And it was, and we had moved to a house. We lived in a duplex, lived in the top, rented the bottom, bought a single family dwelling, just kind of finished it all, did all the outside windows, we put in a sport court, we put in a sprinkler system. We just literally just finished that. And then I got the phone call. I was like, oh, okay. Because we had no intentions of really going anywhere. But then prayerfully, we were like, okay, let's take a little time. And then we just kind of trusted it, and he took the job. Yeah.
Brenda, I want to back up just a second, go back to the Washburn and having babies. Pete, you talk about him being attentive, but I mean, it's a full-time go. He's coaching multiple sports. Coaching takes time, and you're having 3 children at that run. we tend to think back of those times as the best times of our life sometimes. Just wondering what your memories are of those early years when you're growing your family and, Pete's working a ton. And how was your life?
Yeah. So once we had Zeke, he did stop. He did stop coaching baseball, which was helpful. As soon as I had Zeke in 98, he took that one off the plate because eventually he became an assistant principal too. So that was a little bit more demanding. And for me, we decided I was going to stay home full time. I side hustled in working for Lifetime Fitness, and I taught group fitness classes, and the kids would come with me. So I really had the luxury of being able to do that. Like, we just chose to do that, figure that out. And so I was home full time, which was really helpful. I don't know how it would have been if I was also just like full-time grinding at that time. Right. And we were just a few blocks from Washburn. So we would go up to practice most days. I would even go during the school day sometimes. And so I was a part of that. And then I was also part of Lifetime Fitness community where I taught. And so really, honestly, it actually was great. I never missed a game. The kids, grew up kind of playing in the end zone, and I never sat in the stands. I just didn't choose to, for a lot of reasons, but played in the end zone, and really actually was pretty sweet time of life.
Yeah. That sounds dreamy. Mm-hmm. And you stayed fit because you were teaching classes. You never missed an exercise class either. Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, I think when Morgan and Zeke got married, I feel like we drove by that house, your first house that you completely like took care of it. I mean, or something, like someone pointed it out, or we were driving here. Yeah. Or I feel like, or maybe, who knows, maybe my memory is tricking me. It could have been a picture. Maybe you showed me a picture or something.
We have a few pictures in our house, like sketches, and maybe you saw that, but yeah.
It could be. So yeah, so it wasn't just a coaching decision, it was literally a family decision. Exactly. And I think that the story is very common because I've talked to other coaches' wives who my second guest, Megan, they were building a house and they had to sell it. She never even got to move in the house that she was building. Like, this is what happens with coaching and opportunities, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So then what about you rented your house on a Post-it note? I need to hear more about that.
Yeah. So this is a kind of a funny story too. So he started in January, and our kids were going to finish school, and we were just going to look for a place, right? He was driving back and forth every day, long days, of course, because the whole recruiting thing was different than high school. Like, that's a whole different ballgame, raising money and recruiting. Yep. So he was gone long days, and I think our youngest was 3. And I think at that time we put our house on the market, but I don't know, in that year, 2009, I don't know if the market was down or up, but I remember that summer, like, we had like 65 showings. I mean, it was crazy. And so that was going on. And then we finally, and I was just trusting God in this. Like, we looked for houses all summer. We actually put an offer on one, pulled it out. And then the commute was close enough. He could drive an hour and 20 minutes, or ish, give or take. But then one day he was linked up with somebody, and it was like literally 2 days before the players showed up, and he met with them. I don't even know if I saw it, honestly. He was in the maybe I must have been there. It's foggy. That's interesting. I think we were sitting at the table, and he said, "Yeah, you can rent it." And then we just signed a Post-it note, and then literally the day that camp broke, he would go to work all day and all afternoon, and then he would move all night for like 3 weeks. But I don't have no idea how he did that.
Yeah.
0% knowing why, but it's the house we ended up buying, and it's amazing.
And it's where you still are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great property. It's really fun. And at what point did the chickens enter the story?
So which one of our kids, I mean, I think within a few years, I remember that probably pretty quickly, because it's kind of like a farmette. We have a little property, and pretty quickly, everybody really, except for me, kind of honestly, adjusted to rural living pretty quick. They loved every minute of it, and they just were like, "Oh, this is fun, expansion." And then somebody's like, "We could get chickens," and the kids were just like bought in. And it was quite an adjustment to live in this urban setting where everything was really close, and paths and people, and then to live, in this rural environment. It was not good, better, or worse. It was just so different to live in a small town in rural Minnesota.
Right. And you still have chickens?
We don't, actually. As soon as, our youngest went off to college, we were like, okay, that's good. Mm-hmm. Maybe someday again. We just were talking about that. Like, someday we get them again, but it's a lot.
Sure. And so you already said like everybody else adjusted faster than you.
Yeah, I mean, they just did. And like for me, everything was, Pete was super busy, of course, because you're just all in trying to figure out all the things you got to figure out. And then the kids all played sports. Zeke was in 6th grade, and Zoe was in 4th, and Zeta was 3. And so they just kind of integrated into their life. And I was like, whoa, what am I doing? Yeah. And so it took a few years for me to just kind of figure that out. And I did, and I love it now. But it was quite an adjustment for me to just figure out, like, who are my people? Do you ever remember that book that says, "Are You My Mama?" You know, that kid's book where they go to the different animals?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, maybe it's a different one. Anyway, I was just looking for so long, like, who are my people? Who are my people? But eventually I did find them, and it was a great community, and we love it. 17 years now.
That's awesome.
Brenda, if I took you back to, you had mentioned that you didn't come from a big time sports family, and obviously Pete did. I mean, his dad was a teacher and a coach, and that's his background. But when he took the coaching job at Washburn High School, which is where he went to high school, how quickly did you learn that there are ins and outs to being a coach's wife? Because you immediately said you didn't watch the game from the stands. Was that a learned behavior? How did that work for you?
Yeah, so the cool part is, a couple things, like, you learn quickly what you don't want to hear, and what's hurtful to hear. And you learn quickly, like, I could get mad right now, or I could just walk away, and it wouldn't be good if I got mad. So, people just say things. They don't know what they're saying. They just, say a lot of things, and it can be easy to take it personally unless you're like, they just want to win. They want it to go better. And that, for me, I had to remove myself in order to just, like, not be near that, to just kind of be able to manage that well. But I will say his mom, which is, she passed away not even 1 year ago, but she was the greatest. She was a head coach's wife for her most of her life too. So she was my, greatest hero in that, and mentor, and just really, like, just helped me through all that. And you just kind of learn as you go. And Pete and I were really close, and we talked about it. And my dad was a leader of sorts too. So, like, I knew kind of what it's like to have a leader for to be in a family with a leader that can easily get criticized or have to be the heavy, or, so I guess in that sense, I kind of knew what that was. But I think his mom and dad, they really schooled me up, and I became really close to them. So that was huge.
That's great, because that's one of our questions usually is, who did you lean into? Because and so we're such a pleasure to have met her and had a little bit of part of her life. Definitely memorable.
Yeah.
But it's a great segue into, I always want to mention, like, what is Sip and Spill? Like, what is the purpose of why I want to do this podcast? And it is definitely to bring the human emotion back into coaches, their families, the kids that are playing, that are on the field or the court. And through my conversations with a lot of people and just my guests on the podcast, no one wants to win more than the coaches and the players.
Right.
Like, they're not just out there, whatever, oops, we didn't make that one. Everybody wants to win. And so I just want to, try to bring some human emotion and give some backstory of like, these are actual people with real emotion and families that are listening to these comments. So, like, as why, how, you touched on it a little bit already, but how do you think people get there when they're so critical? Or you said, they don't really know what they're saying, but do they know what they're saying? And how can, like, I just wish that we could change that communication in the stands.
Well, honestly, I feel like the majority of the people, like, that I have dealt with, and that I have been supportive and expansive, and and really good. I think it's, at least in the high school and D3, it's the few, right? Not the most, not the majority. So for me, that's been my experience. But honestly, too, I just, as a head coach's wife too, you have to you're just cautious about kind of how you roll with connectivity just to protect your family and to, you know, not get too much in the weeds with people. You want to be close, but you have to be kind of cautious in that way. That's my perspective. I'm a pretty private, you know, highly introverted person, so that's probably more of my nature anyway.
And you have just like from day one, probably from coaching, that being coached up from Pete's parents, just to be careful and, you know, stay away from the fans. Yeah, it's probably just better. Because do you have a sense of like motherhood to the kids on the team? Because Pete only does football now and has since he took the job at Gustavus.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I eventually started working at Gustavus too. So that was a cool thing. Like I started teaching in the health exercise science department. I did some kind of adjunct professor work in the health and physiology department. And then I really got to know some kids. I led a lot of Bible studies, led a lot of women mentoring, small groups. I actually taught yoga to the team many times. I would do some of that work with the whole team and groups and fall camps. So that was really fun. Pete always really tried to incorporate kind of whatever I was doing with the team. And yeah, I mean, I would certainly kind of connect, not with all of them, but many of them along the lines on a regular basis as much as I could. And the kids did too when they were little, for sure. Before they got into organized sports, they really did too. We'd have them over once a year, not that often. We'd have the whole team over once a year, sometimes, and then the seniors over in the spring. So a couple times a year we'd have them over, the coaches over more than that. But that was a fun thing that we would do too. So yeah, I do think a lot of that happened.
Because it's not only like you're not only protecting your own kids and your husband, but you also have like this little bit of an ownership of protecting the kids that are playing as well.
Always.
Yeah.
And you know, Pete, you know, his thing is, of course it's to win. Of course it's compete. Of course it's to be better on the field. I mean, their goal is growth, effort, trust. That's their motto. But you know, there are a lot of things that happen to kids in college, a lot of things. And so I get to, you know, learn some of those things and kind of help with, hey, have you thought of this? Or, hey, have you thought about that? Or I think that, and what if you? And so that's a privileged position too, to kind of support and be a sounding board for just like other things, mental health, family distress, like disciplinary actions, all those things that happen all the time too.
Right. If people are thinking, you know, they know you as the coach's wife and they think, you know, coach's wife equals game day fun. What's the part that no one sees? Like, are you excited about game day as well? Like, does game day come up? You're excited. And then what's the part, you know, that some people are missing, maybe that they would be a little bit like, oh, you know, maybe I should calm down my comments.
Well, for me, I mean, I'm so much better than what I was long ago, but I think like there were years when I just couldn't even eat until like 5 p.m. the game was over, win or loss. Like I knew in the morning, something you're going to think this is so funny, but sometimes I would call Dottie most mornings and I would send her whatever devotional I was reading. And I would like read the next day and try to figure out like, how's this going to go? What do I need to do?
What's the future? What's the future?
Yes. So, you know, I would try to go through my normal routine, but I mean, I'm all in, right? So like, I never missed a game. I would never miss it. I'm all in for Pete and the players and the coaches. Like I'm all in. So it's very, very serious. And yes, it's fun. But I think for me, it was, you know, I took it. Our whole family has taken it really seriously. We could talk about that too, how each of them have been involved. But like, yeah, I mean, now I'm better. Like, I feel like, you know, I went back to school to be a mental health therapist. And I think like that was for me. And thank goodness I get to work with clients. But honestly, it was for me to figure some things out. Right. So
that's great. That's great. And, you know, it just, we'll get to that, like the competitiveness of your family and stuff too. But those are like super important parts of really why I like to have, like, we want to hear the backstories and we want to hear, you know, what happens behind the scenes. Yeah. And so when not Pete, but the team does have a loss, and you said earlier that, you know, Pete's really good about leaving it. But is it a little bit like you get home, you kind of unwind, you're kind of sad, or does it depend on the loss? Do you talk about it? Does he do you give input?
Yeah.
the game, or he shouldn't have done that play.
Yeah, I mean, all that happens, right? Like, so losses stink.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nothing good about them, honestly, and that they're really hard on the family. But we have always done it kind of together. And Pete's not in avoidance mode, or he's not an angry person. He doesn't get frustrated. We will do the same thing after every game on a Saturday. If we're on the bus, if I took the bus, all the kids take the bus, we just take the bus back and we go home and we have dinner and we just do a lot of talking and then go to bed and do it again the next day. And then if it's a home game, he sneaks out of there as fast as he can and, doesn't watch film right away. He'll go home, we'll have dinner, he'll go mow grass for a while to get his brain in a different place. And the kids and I will just, do whatever we were going to do that night. They might even have a hockey game. I don't know. And then back in the day, and then we just really talk about it. We just talk. And I say, well, I'm a body language reader. Like, I'm not a high level, like, play. I don't know, like, intricacies of plays. I get, like, dynamics and I watch body language. And so I'll talk about that. Like, this is what I know. So this is what I think. And I wonder if this, and I wonder if that, and what about this? And when this happened, I thought about it, but not until we're ready. I don't nitpick ever because I don't really know enough to do that. Mm-hmm. But he'll show me film and show me this. I'm like, what about that? Why did that happen? I don't think it was a penalty. What's happened there? And then we go back and look at it. I mean, just funny stuff like that.
Right. In the moment, it looks way different than when you're looking at it in a replay or on film. Yeah. So sometimes it's called pillow talk. So he has his ears open to what you have to say.
Always. Yeah. Always. And he's really good about that. And I really try not to take advantage of that. I'm sure I say things that it's just like, okay.
Right.
But
that's called partnership, right?
Yeah,
and, yeah, exactly. Sometimes we don't even know what we're doing.
Yeah, that's right.
And, cool. Well, we're going to take a quick break to recognize and thank our sponsors. And please give these businesses a call or a visit. Book your next spa appointment, grab your spring and summer wardrobe, or get professional advice. Next up, we're going to be talking a little bit more about family and how we are connected.
This episode of Sip and Spill is brought to you by Habish & Rotier, the hometown personal injury firm you can trust to help your family when it matters most. Visit habish.com for more information. This episode is also brought to you by Summit Credit Union. Make any vision for your business happen with loan programs, great rates, and strategic solutions from Summit Credit Union, the #1 SBA lender in Wisconsin. Also brought to you by Evie & Co., the boutique, a curated collection of women's clothing, accessories, and home goods based in Wanakee. It means the world to us that you're here and created this boutique with all the women in our lives in mind. We intentionally handpick each item with the goal of making you and your home look and feel confident and radiant. Shop evieandco.com. It's on Main Street in Wanakee. Sip and Spill is also presented by Red and White Wine and Bourbon Bar. Hang out, kick back, drink up. Newly remodeled, great wines, bourbons, and now beer on tap. Special occasion coming up. We'd love to help you. Take the stress away and handle the party for you. Email us at redandwhite331@gmail.com. And also brought to you by the spa at Autumn Organics. Health, wellness, renewal, premium organic and vegan products, and spa treatments for your hair, body, and nails. The spa at Autumn Organics in Sun Prairie. Schedule a service today and have an award-winning experience celebrating 16 years and 7 straight best spa in Sun Prairie. Get 20% off all gift cards, $125 and up, and also 10% off one product, 20% off for 2, 30 for 3. Go online, the spa, sunprairie.com. Now back to my captain and your host, Kari.
That's me. Okay, we're going to jump into a little bit of more family. And on my notes, I have family equals the team. So you told me all of your kids played hockey. So was that planned or just inevitable?
Well, Pete wasn't a big start out in team sports dad. Like, he knew that kids had to have a lot of diversity and just have fun with play. And we didn't get our kids in. We actually got our kids in pretty late for hockey and football. Zeke played football and hockey and tennis. And then Zoe played volleyball, hockey, and various sports in the spring. She tried different ones. And then Zeta played volleyball, but then she turned over to tennis and hockey and various sports in the spring. So yeah, all of them played hockey. And then they all did various other things all the way through.
Mm-hmm. It was just their choice.
Yeah, their choice. Yeah. And interestingly enough, like, well, Zeke started and then he wanted to be a goalie pretty quickly. And my husband's like, oh, maybe not. But he wanted that. And so we were like, great, you do that. So he was a goalie. Zoe was a defensive player. And then Zeta was a center. So it was kind of fun. It got less stressful each kid.
Sure.
Brenda, did Pete coach the kids at all in any of their youth sports?
Yeah, that he coached them as a father, not like he wasn't a hard coach, but that wasn't really possible with his job. That wasn't something that he had capacity for. In the summer, he'd work with them, and then he really rarely to never miss. Like, he would get there, even if he had a recruiting thing, or he would get there late or get in the second, third period. Like, he would work his tail off to get to pretty much everything. He missed very little because he could arrange his life around. I mean, we lived in a smaller community, right? Some of the away games, I think at the beginning, some of the away games that was a little tougher for, but never missed a home game, of course, and really tried to get to almost every one of them.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And then Zoe and Zeta end up working for Pete at different stages, or
yeah. So
was it a dream or chaos?
Yeah, what's that?
Was it a dream or was it chaos?
Well, I mean, honestly, Zoe started when there's a 6-year gap between Zoe and Zeta. So, Zeke went, all 3 of our kids actually went to Gustavus. That wasn't really planned either. But when Zoe started going to Gustavus, she has kind of an eye for content and social media. So she began to be kind of the content or social media specialist for the football team. So she worked with him on just everything. It still actually does, kind of helping with newsletters, helping with, all kinds of graphics. And then when Zeta started going, 6 years later, she started doing that too. And they're on the sidelines. One is taking pictures, one is filming, one is live, updating the website, one is doing Instagram. They're all like and so it's fun. And then Zoe's husband, Ethan, is a coach on the team too. And so we just, it's all family. And then we just kind of all have had a part of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Back to when the kids were growing up then, and you have a, I don't know, wiffle ball game, family game out on the yard, or board games inside. How competitive were all of you?
Yeah, so we turned over some Monopoly tables before. I mean, I'm sure, but I mean, people are pretty generally good about it. But yeah, I think competitive, and they all have their little side angle for getting there.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think we've loved to just play together and kind of do pretty much all of that stuff, but nothing gets too aggressive. Everybody's pretty healthy about it all.
Did you let them win, or did they have to earn their win?
Oh, I never had capacity to win in the nicest way. Like, I would try, but that ended really early for me. Now, Pete, I mean, I think maybe the kids have beat him a few times, but I'm not sure they have.
But it doesn't come easily. They have to earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always like, I'll play, but like, I really don't want to win.
Well, yeah, I don't have capacity to really beat them, so it's okay. Yeah. I mean, at cards, I'm pretty good now at cards. I feel like I can get them.
And then you have this extended family, me.
Yes.
Well, more through Morgan. And like I said earlier, we were hoping that she was going to make her debut, but we just, we can't wait to ooze our love all over her. We'll see each other again very soon, I'm sure. But I want to continue to touch a little bit more on your, like, would you say you reinvented yourself by going back to school, and what drove you to think, you know what, I want to do something more? Yeah.
So like I said, I was I was the primary at-home caregiver, home taker, caretaker, those types of things for many, many years, with the bulk of our, for the first 25 years, for 20 years-ish, right? And then I had some counseling. It changed me, some mental health counseling. It really changed me. And I'm like, I feel like this could be another step for me. And a really dear friend of mine had also gone back to school, and she's like, you should do it. She really encouraged me. And it was terrifying, but I did go back when Zeke was in college. It took me 3 summers and 4 years. So I was kind of working at that time. And yeah, I did. I really did. I think it was amazing, and it was a grind. I don't know how I did it, but I kind of did. Yeah, I guess I did reinvent myself as another stage of life, and I'm so thankful.
Right. What would you say to someone, maybe particularly women, who feel like it's too late?
Never. too late. I think you just take a class and then you take another class. I mean, I really, obviously, for me, I prayed about it a lot, and I felt really kind of led to do that too. So there's that piece. And then I just kind of trusted the process. And I went to Mankato, where Morgan did. Me and Morgan and I graduated pretty.
Right. Yeah. Like, yeah. I remember that. You walked the same day, right?
No, I think I was with my master's. I think it was the year after, but I was there. And I think some of my cohort people did, because it took me a little longer. I was non-traditional and I was still working full time. So it took me just a little longer to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But never too late. And it's such, like, what you're doing is such meaningful work in so many levels, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love it. And it helps me with just this world of mental health now, especially like with Pete's job. I mean, you're dealing with that all the time with players. So it's helpful we can talk about that.
Yeah. It's at every level. Like, yes, there's high school, there's even youth sports psychologists, right? And that are becoming more and more popular, even at the level of the NFL. I talked to Annie Thomas, and she was talking about her husband's struggle in the NFL as well, and needed a sports psychologist. And it's on the same level as mental health, and just not being unashamed, right?
Lower the stigma. Yes. Really, it's exactly. Growth provoking. How do you get to know yourself better? I mean, that's kind of how I start with it.
Yeah.
Brenda, can I let me chime in as well? You've mentioned a few times, and obviously we know you. There's faith is an important part of your entire life, and yes, Pete's in a win and lose scenario as a coach, and has been for the vast majority, almost your entire marriage. So how does faith play a role for both of you in managing wins and losses on the ice, on the field, and how it plays into both of your lives and your family's life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an anchor, right? Because we know that everything around us is unpredictable and things like that, but our faith being an anchor. And I would say that, the biggest thing for Pete too, as a football coach, of course, wins and loses, like, you're always trying to win. That's the goal, but character building is probably primary goal. And so I think, like, raising young men to be, healthy dads and husbands and business people, or wherever they decide to go. And so I think that, that role of our faith, like, what does God have for us? What does God have for him? Like, how do we stay grounded in our beliefs, our values, our character? How do we stay steady when, things feel really unstable? And I think that's what we always go back to. What's the most important thing? And so I guess I'm not sure if that answers well, but that's where I'm going with it.
It does. And how do you feel overall the reception of the kids? Are they, like, do you hear later on in life from them that they're doing well, or because of you, or because of being on the team?
Well, I think there's such a brotherhood. Gussie football is special in that the alumni are really tight, always have been, before Pete, during, after. It's like the alumni are really strong. They've always been really tight, and it's quite a brotherhood. So I would say that those men, young men, and then now men, they have really kind of, because Division III is a little different than Division II and I, in that there is this integration of there's more to that. Yes, football is a priority, especially in season, but there's so many other things kids are involved with, and they usually stay for all 4 years. I mean, if they don't play anymore, they sometimes can be part of the team. But what I would say is that, major brotherhood. So we have lots of people that are part of the alumni golf tournament. They come back to games, and I get to see them on the field and give them hugs, and it's so great to see them come back, and they support each other, and they have a lot of linking. Pete also tries to do a lot of linking current player to, a player that's out there. He's a teacher, he's a lawyer, he's a surgeon, he's a business person, he's a whatever it is. They do a lot of mentoring programs. And so, they really try to kind of, and so, we hear back all the time. And Pete, he hears from
sense of pride. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to close up here. Thank you so much for your time and taking the time today. And we're just going to end on some grandbaby moments. What do you think you're most looking forward to?
Oh, just holding that little.
As a grandbaby.
Yes, just holding her, looking at that sweet little face and helping however I can. I don't know. I've never done it. You've done it. I've never done it. I'm just hold that little bugger.
Yeah.
And my one daughter and I work in the nursery, so I do have some current practice. But
sure. Yes. Well, you've done you have expertise that's going to come all flooding back to you,
hope so.
Having your kids. But I think what I hear from people, obviously Mike and I are a blended family. His oldest daughter, Amanda, is the one that has the 2 grandbabies. So this is my first of one of my children. So we're kind of in the same boat. But what I hear is like, it's so much fun to see your grandbaby. It reminds you of your baby. So when you're holding Annie, like you're going to feel like it's Zeke again,
Oh, that could be emotionally fabulously overwhelming, but okay.
So who do you think is going to be the more spoiler, you or Pete? Who's going to spoil her more?
That's such a good question. That's such a good question. I mean, Pete's just like a tender man. He has the thickest skin and the softest heart. So I'm not sure. It could be pretty competitive. He's a pretty tender fella. He could beat me out.
Yeah. Do you think Annie is going to be in the hockey rink, maybe on a football field, or just chasing chickens?
Yeah. Chickens, maybe tennis. Maybe she'll be
tennis. Yes, I forgot to put that one in there. Yes, of course. And what's something you've learned as a mom that you hope that they what's something you like represented to Zeke as a mom, or Zoe and Zetta too, that you hope that Morgan and Zeke carry on?
Well, I mean, I think that groundedness in something outside of ourselves, right? That faith is a really important piece. And then also just like emotional presence and just being with and for, and I don't have any doubt that they'll do that for her. So I guess those pieces maybe.
Yes. Well, we're excited. We're more than thrilled to have Zeke in our family. I feel like you could say the same thing about Morgan.
Absolutely. Love Morgan to death. Yeah.
We didn't even mention the syrup. We love your maple syrup.
Okay. Yes.
And I mentioned to you at the baby shower, like I should have brought our empty, canning jars or syrup jars, but we'll still do that at some point.
Yes. This is the first year he hasn't tapped trees in 17 years. It just got by us this year.
Going away too?
It's not going to go. It's going to be revived.
Okay.
Sometimes there's pauses, but it will be revived. Guaranteed.
Okay. You can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You can take a year off or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Brenda. From camp life to horses to raising a sports family to now becoming a Grammy. What is life like with Pete? What has this life with Pete taught you about partnership?
Yeah, I mean, I think, always turning towards each other, right? And I think I mentioned that just now, just like continuing together to develop thicker skin and softer hearts. That's what's going to get you through it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's been a thrill.
Thank you. This was awesome. I'm honored.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
This episode of Sip and Spill brought to you by Habish, and Rotier. Go to habish.com for more information. Also brought to you by Summit Credit Union. You can go to Summit Credit Union for all of your lending needs. Brought to you by Evie & Co. Boutique. Shop evieandco.com. Brought to you by Red and White Wine Bar. Go online as we can help you with your next event. redandwhite331@gmail.com. Send us your notes. And also brought to you by the spa at Autumn Organics. That is a wrap on the latest episode of Sip and Spill.